Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Beardsly's Daily Dose, where me and my best friends give you our professionally unprofessional advice and toe the line between helpful and humor. Chances are, if you're here, you can relate to having a day's worth of stress and bullshit. So strap in and get ready to laugh as we give you the Daily Dose. Hey, welcome back, everybody.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Thanks for coming back and checking out episode number 8. We really appreciate it. It's getting up there. I mean, just feels like last week we were doing episode 7.
I think for episode 10, the three of us gotta have like a mini bottle of champagne or something and pop it.
Popping bottles for episode 10?
Yeah, I mean, like we said last time, I mean, people, how many people who start this actually get past like 3?
I mean, fair enough. I'm down to celebrate the little wins.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do in life. Celebrate the little wins.
Keeps you pushing forward to keep getting those little wins.
Yep. Just a few things to address the elephant in the room. You only see 2 of us. Don't worry. Kay isn't gone. She's fine. She'll be back. She has some shit she has to deal with this week, and she couldn't make the recording. But don't worry, your soulless redhead will return.
Unfortunately.
That's what he says. So it's gonna look a little different this episode, but hey, we're gonna get through it. We still gotta make you guys laugh and give you that daily dose. Let you know.
That's right.
What we know, which isn't a lot.
Tonight is boys' night.
Boys' night. Boys' night. Boys' night.
Boys. It's hard to chant with you.
It is hard to chant over the internet.
Yeah.
But it's gonna look really good.
Yeah, it is.
You're just gonna look a little slow.
It's all right. That's fine. See, one of the things that I like to lead with in life is like you always want people to underestimate you.
Right. Oh my goodness gracious. It's kind of like I really look forward to these nights. But then there's times where I don't, because I know I'm going to laugh so much, and my fucking hurts my face to laugh and smile so much.
Yeah.
And I'm a giggling Gertie, so I'm constantly laughing.
I know. And then there's this. Your gut hurts, your back hurts, you're sweating.
Yeah. Is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, should have went and worked out today. I told you not to.
That's all right. My feet stink.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna jump right into it. Jake's gonna start it off, and then we'll take it from there.
So yeah, guys. So this week, especially with the theme of Boys' Night, I decided to hop on the Ask Men subreddit. Now, this isn't me being exclusive or anything like that. It's good that I think as men we could talk about some of these things and give our perspectives to both men and women and whatever else is out there that you identify as. So what I decided to go, it's a throwaway account. It says it right in the name. It's throwaway in TTI. I don't know. But it asks, how would you feel if your girl was posting thirst traps? He says that I just ended things with my girlfriend due to this. She was spamming thirst traps on TikTok, which she wasn't aware that I knew of. She has a large following as well, so I know the attention was something that she has been getting long before me. I never told her that it was the reason either. I just blame myself and my personal life circumstances that she was aware of. And that's where he ends it. Really simple.
Very rash decision, it seems like.
I think it depends. What I think was really rash is not telling her the reason. Maybe it could have been worked out. Maybe maybe if she knew that you knew, maybe she would have curved it if it was something that really bothered you. It also depends, I think, on what every individual defines as a thirst trap.
Right.
Right. So when
I mean, if you're on TikTok, we've all been on TikTok. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen the thirst traps on TikTok.
Right.
They're you're not showing complete nudity.
But is a TikTok dance in just some at home shorts and a tank top with thirst trap? Or is that just a girl in some casual wear doing a TikTok dance?
I mean, I get that, but it says that she was spamming thirst traps on TikTok. If you're just at home, how often are you sitting there dancing in different outfits and different?
Right. That makes
I mean,
sense.
it doesn't say that there's different outfits, but that in no way defines what I'm gonna say about it. Like, I feel that like, yeah, he should have talked to her about it before ending it, because maybe she's trying to get a following on the internet and she's trying to make money. What's wrong with that?
Right.
Like I get that, like, if you're in a relationship, you should definitely talk to your significant other and make sure that this is something that they're comfortable with as well. But in the same sense, like, we don't know a lot about this relationship.
Right.
It could be very new. It could be a month, 2 months new.
Fair.
And he's finding this out and he just didn't like that and didn't want to deal with that. But let's say that this is something that, you know, they've been in a relationship for a long time, then yeah, that could be a problem if she's going about doing these things and not talking to him about posting these pictures.
Especially,
like, it's just more of a respect thing.
Yeah, and it does say that it was happening long before him. And I think the fact that she knew that she thought that he wasn't aware of it indicates a little bit of deceitfulness. So I think that there is a line. There's a definite line. Like, if my wife is going to post, if she's in an outfit that she likes and she's feeling good about it and she wants to post it, then that's fine. Now, if it's like lingerie, no, that's not cool. But, that's just an expectation that I have, and that, I think a lot of reasonable people would have. And on the same token too, then, is that I don't look at like thirst trappy stuff. I don't seek it out. I don't let it come across my feed. If something comes across my feed that I don't like, I hit the not interested button so that less stuff shows up. Like, it's just one of those things.
Right. Right.
And a lot of people in the comments, do say that it's a deal breaker. They're just saying, like, you should have just been honest. I do think that is kind of the kicker there. And just based on what the comments are saying and the way he described it, it is a lot of like, yeah, like, I dip, like, if she's hiding it, it's probably the intense ones that are like the what do you call it? The transition ones, where it's like out of their makeup and then they like move their arm over and then there's like some sort of change in their whatever.
Yeah. Well, so where I look at it is, if, like, say they had been in a relationship for a long time, I don't, communication is very big. Like, you have to be able to talk to your partner, and like, if your partner is somebody who likes to do that, like, if you're okay, like, not everybody can have that feeling, but like, if you're okay with them, they're never going to meet with anybody. They're posting pictures and they're getting possible money out of this, possibly getting, supplemental income out of this.
Right.
It's just like if you were dating somebody who was in the adult industry, or a dancer, an exotic dancer.
Yeah.
They everybody has the right to do those things.
Right.
You have to be able to find somebody and be into that, get that compatibility with that person, to trust your partner and let them do the things that they want to do, if they're just trying to make a little, extra income on the side. And not everybody can deal with that. Not everybody can handle that at all.
I mean, like, I don't want to say that I couldn't, because I don't want people to be like, oh man, he's just insecure. But the reality is I probably couldn't myself deal with like an OF being involved in my relationship.
And there's nothing wrong with you being insecure, because that just shows how much you care about this person. Like, you couldn't take anybody else looking at your wife the way you look at her.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of that also has to do with, how fresh your relationship is. Say you've been with somebody for 6 years. You come to that conclusion and you guys, like, maybe you guys will figure out that that's something that interests both of you.
Right.
you know, making content with her,
right,
or doing, you know, being the faceless star in the same content.
Yeah.
But, you know, it could definitely, it definitely determines the stages of your relationship and when you're in. And if it's something new, a newer relationship, going out front and just throwing that out there is the way that it should be handled. It shouldn't be keeping something like that from a new prospective partner, because they need to know the ins and outs of all that stuff. So that way they can make that decision if they want to be part of it, or if they can handle their shit when they find out that you're, you know, sending pussy pics to people off the side on OF.
Right. I think she should have let him know, or at least made her account aware. Because then he would have the opportunity to make a decision from the jump. And, you know, say that they have been together for a year, and, you know, a year's a long time, especially for like younger ages. You know, like that's a year of emotion built up, then just to find this and know it's happening constantly, and I never knew about it. Well, why wouldn't, like, so what is happening? What else is happening that you weren't comfortable bringing this to me in the first place and saying, hey, this is something I do. I get views off it, which gives me a little bit of a payout, or just, I like it. I'm confident and I want to. Some guys are cool with that. Some
girls love to just show off.
Right. And some guys are cool with that.
Some girls. Yeah. Like, you know, I'd be the one to be like, cool. Can I record it for you?
Right.
Like, can I make the content for you? Like, I'll help you manage it.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I've had the conversation with my wife.
Let's
like,
boost these posts.
If she literally could just, like, I've told her, it's like, if you take pictures of your feet because they're on you more than they're on me, I'll sell them. I'll get them. I'll post them. I'll manage it. Like, I'll take care of all the financials.
Yeah.
You paint your nails, take pictures of it. Shit, I'll sell that shit.
Yeah.
Let's do it. You know, she hasn't done it yet, and she's down for it. She just doesn't ever think about it, and doesn't, like, it's not like a priority for her. But we've also been married for going on 15 or 16 years.
Yeah.
So we've been together for a long time.
Right.
You know? And sometimes something like this could throw a spice into your relationship that you didn't know was there and that was needed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know? But like I said too, it depends on the stage of the relationship that you're in, and the forthcoming you are with that, you know, action of that stuff.
And there needs to be, with stuff like that, especially if it becomes like a partnership thing where you're doing it together, there needs to be a lot of open and honest communication. You know, what this person did, she's an asshole. Like it was, even though she didn't like blatantly lie about it, it was a lie of omission because it wasn't brought up. And dude now is, but I think he was kind of, I don't want to call a guy a coward, but it's a little cowardly just to not be up front and blame it on, oh, my life's short. When I was 15 or 16 and broke up with my very first girlfriend, I just didn't like her anymore. But I made up all these like bullshit things that were happening in my life to be like, oh yeah, I have to really focus on this and blah, blah, blah. And in reality, I'm just like, I hate you.
Right. Well, and like I said earlier, looking into this, the guy doesn't say how long they've been in a relationship.
No.
The way that it's posted, it feels very immature of the poster to just like, I ended things due to this and didn't even talk to her about it. I just basically ghosted her. Yeah. And he said he put the blame on himself, so he didn't want to even talk to her about it. So that's a situation that he doesn't want to be in, and that's a relationship he doesn't have to be in, and that's fine. That's fine on him, but we don't know the complete situation to actually give, you know, a judgment, because what if they've only been dating for a few weeks and she was literally just like, I'm going to feel this guy out, see how it is before I decide to tell him all the stuff that I do.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Right. And I guess, yeah, that's reasonable. That's reasonable.
It's not hard. It's not out of the norm to not show your hand the first date. You know, right. You're not showing your poker hand the first date. You're going to keep something back and be a little reserved until you figure out who this person is. Like, shit. I mean, sometimes it could even be a month. I think even a month isn't too long to do something like that, especially if you're being faithful to that person during all of that. Like you're legitly just posting thirst traps and you're not off on the side fucking dudes. Like,
right.
I don't think there's anything wrong with having a bit of privacy and keeping your own, I can't say the word anonymity.
Yeah, anonymity. Yep.
To yourself.
Yeah.
Like that's who you are. That's who you were before you met this person, and you're not expected to just change immediately. You know, and we don't know that. We don't know what happened here because there's not this very, very vague post.
Right. And I mean, and if I'm just to like read into it a little deeper, him saying that he just told her like some personal challenges, I feel like if it was like more of a serious relationship, maybe there would have been more of a fight, which will then translate into more details on this post.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Looking at
it makes it feel like it was a young relationship. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
To me.
Like I'm thinking like 18, 19.
And I wasn't even thinking age of the people.
Just newness.
I'm thinking more of just the maturity of the actual relationship. Like they probably have just started dating. That's how it feels the way he's described it. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of like, he doesn't say he's in pain and he's super upset. How could she do this? We've been together for 4 years.
Right.
And this is what is happening. It was very vague. I just ended things with her because of this.
Right.
And here's why. You know, I mean, the lack of details aside, it's still, you know, my take would be it depends on the maturity of the relationship and the compatibility between each partner.
Right.
Some people can't handle it. Yeah. Some people can date porn stars and enjoy hearing them come home telling them how good they got fucked today. You know, some people are cucks. If you're a cuck, go for it. Like,
yeah, you
want to watch your wife get banged, go for it. Like we've said it on this podcast before, kinks are good. Some kinks should be kept to yourself. Yeah. But like, that's a pretty standard kink. It's a pretty standard kink.
It's more, and it's getting more normalized.
Yeah.
Today, right? Like it's been kind of growing in popularity.
Well, I mean, and I literally just, I feel that it's like, it's just an empowerment to women too, because they know I'm going to get fucked. My husband's going to watch it and he's going to like it. Right. And there's nothing he can do about it.
Right.
Which, I mean, go girl.
I would still need
get fucked.
I would need a measure of control in the situation. I would need
but
I would need to be able to throw a red card in there and be like, time's up.
You've gone longer than me. You can't outfuck me.
That's right. Get out of here. It's been a minute and 37 seconds. It's time for you to go.
And that would be things you'd have to discuss with your partner before all this happened. These are things that those are boundaries that do definitely get set in these types of kinks.
Yeah, and they should. They should. I mean, there is something 100%. To be said about boundaries and stuff like that. Absolutely.
Like having kinks and doing extra, like fulfilling fantasies inside your relationship is only going to work if you set the boundaries beforehand. Mm-hmm. And only going to know like you have to, like I've partaken in a threesome. Mm-hmm. And I'm 100% making sure that my wife is having the best time she could have.
Right.
Before me. Like, yeah. I'm not taking my attention off of her and just putting it on somebody else.
Right.
I'm making sure that we all are experiencing and having a good time at the same time.
Yeah. If anything, the third person, it should be the least satisfied.
Feel awkward.
Should be the least satisfied for sure.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, and then even then, like, that isn't even always the case, because 9 times out of 10, a girl is coming in and it's bonus for the dude, but the wife is the one that's having the most fun, because I'd be happy to sit there and watch the 2 girls go for it, girl.
Yeah.
Let me see what you doing down there. Oh, I like that.
My bowl of my popcorn.
I'm gonna be sitting off into the corner.
Literal butterfingers.
Oh.
Because I'm just eating, waiting.
Just waiting for your turn.
Reading.
Yeah, right. Reading.
It's been 2 hours. Holy shit.
Your tongues ain't sore yet?
Yeah, like, hey, your jaw doesn't hurt? Like, underneath your tongue's not starting to swell and cramp? The
They weren't lying when they say a woman knows a woman's body best.
Do you have time to talk afterwards? I'd like to get your take on a few things. I need some notes, actually.
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm being hypothetical.
You're like, yeah, man, I'll always talk with you afterwards.
Yeah,
No problem.
Once we're done recording, I just have some questions. Where is the female clitoris?
Well, it's on the bottom part,
That's
like
what I
just
thought.
right behind the bottom of the vagina,
That's what I thought.
where the dude's taint is. That's where
That
the
makes
woman's
sense.
clit is.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Weird color. It's got some weird shapes to it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like white.
Weird. Sometimes it's smelly.
Yeah. What is up with that?
I don't know.
What's up with that?
Right.
When I was a kid,
Girls, clean your clitorises, okay?
please. I'm gonna expose myself here. When I was a kid, it actually took me longer than I'm willing to admit to learn this. But I used to think that everybody just did it in the butt.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
for a long
Yeah,
time.
I never thought that.
For a long time, like too long. I was raised in a pretty sheltered environment, but like it was embarrassing.
So when I was younger, I was hiding underneath my parents' bed, and I found my stepdad's porn stash. It was like in a box, and it had a bunch of magazines in it, and I'd crawl under there, and I was like looking at it, and so for the longest time, I thought that all vaginas had big giant fucking bushes stuck to them.
Mm-hmm. They used to,
And that's all they were. Well, yeah, back in the 80s, 90s. Right. They were. It was pretty prominent. I mean, it's coming back. It's coming back now.
Yeah.
But that's what I thought a vagina looked like, was just nothing but hair.
Mm-hmm. You have to like dig through it with a machete to like get.
But then as I got older, and because I grew up when the internet was created,
right,
I was able to go online and go to the library and get one of those privacy screen ones and print, like type up stuff and look up things.
Yeah.
That was back before they made all these rules for, kids not being able to access the internet and not being able to access porn sites and whatnot.
Damn.
But that's how I learned.
Yeah.
That's how I learned about sex, because I grew up in a very religious household, and sex was not on the table until I was married.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm 13, I'm 14 years old. Like, what? I'm not getting married, but that girl's pretty.
I can't wait.
She does things to me. She makes me feel certain ways.
Yeah.
And so that's, you get curious and you go look and you find out, and, so by the time I was 18, which is when I lost my virginity, I was a very late bloomer for most kids, most young adults, losing their virginity. I knew what to do. Right. I didn't have any problems. I knew exactly what to do.
Yeah. I don't remember when I learned or what it was that like, I think it was a friend must have told me. I don't remember, but I think at that point I was like, oh, really? Bet. That's I can manage that. Yeah. I can manage that. The other thought, how I thought it happened before, it was just a little too much for me, but this is manageable.
Right.
And then I lost it when I was 15.
Damn. Yeah. 18 for me. 18 at a house party.
Damn.
It was actually more like an orgy party, but
there you go.
There was a lot of people having sex everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere. It was the first time I ever saw lesbians doing it together.
Wow.
Yeah. Doing it. They were doing it hard.
Nice.
In the shower. They were in a shower. It's crazy.
Oh, word.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was nuts. I'll have to tell you the story later off camera.
Yeah, sounds good.
Maybe I'll put it on camera and you guys can go to our Patreon and subscribe and listen to the uncut edition.
Keep the tissues away.
Yeah, and the lotion.
Yeah.
And the lotion. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that one was good. I there's so many takes that we could do on it, and it's just all about communication and trust with your partner.
Yeah, and if somebody out there just isn't down with that, that's fine. And don't let people push you and bully you and like into thinking that like you're some bitch boy because of it. Like that's if that's where your values stand and that's your expectation, that's a fair and valid expectation. If you're on the other end of it, that's also fair and valid. Just
right.
They're different strokes for different folks, and that's cool.
Yeah, and you have to know, that that's something you can take. And if you can't, and you don't know, then you have to talk to your partner and be like, I'm going to try this, but this is what I'm feeling, and this is what I don't know if I can handle it, and
right.
I'm willing to try, but if I don't like it, we have to make a change, or right. Adios.
And you want a partner that'll hear that. And if they don't, then you're just not straight up. You're just not compatible.
But in the sense of the person that's doing the content, you want a partner that's able to talk to you and ask you those things and let you know those things before you just ghost them and say, I can't handle this.
Right.
Without even telling them what was wrong.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it really is about open lines of communication. That's what it boils down to.
That is the number one thing in a relationship. Like that is if I could tell you anything for anybody that doesn't have a relationship or is starting or looking to start a relationship or is having problems, fucking communicate. Talk with your partner. Talk with them. Like me and my wife, we went to couples counseling, and I'm not afraid to admit that because it's needed. A lot of people could very, very much benefit from it.
Yeah.
But when we did, we would go in and we'd talk to the therapist separately, and then we would, we'd be able to talk to each other. We'd talk, I think we only did it once, but there was something saying where you go in and you say, I'm feeling this way because of this, and be very straightforward with what you're saying, because it cuts out those blurred lines of dancing around the subject. Because you can't really get your point across 100% if you're dancing around and you're making gestures at how you feel, or right. you're just poking hints at how you feel. Figure out how I feel. I'm telling you, like, these are the signs. Figure out how I feel. No, be straightforward. When this happens, I feel this way.
Yeah.
And I need this to not feel this way. You have to be straightforward.
Yeah.
And that worked for a long time. Like, we used that, and to this day, like, it's been a long time since we've had a very big like altercation, because we were able to stop and say, okay, we can't yell at each other. Let's take a break. Right. And then let's talk about it. And you talk about it straightforward, just bluntly.
Yep.
So,
and doing that too also kind of cancels out like accusatory sayings. You did this. Yeah. You did this.
Yeah.
It's more of, okay, maybe they did or said something that you didn't like, but chances are 99.9% of the time, the intention behind it isn't what's being received. It's 99.9% of the time, your partner's not trying to hurt you.
Yeah, it's taken out of context.
Right. And, that's...
You're not hearing it. You're hearing it in an awful way because you're feeling in an awful place. So you're hearing the negativity.
Yeah. And sometimes that stems back to, things, childhood, past relationship, just like stuff that isn't resolved yet. And so being able to be open, direct, and reframe the conversation in a way that is more productive and more like, okay, you're not fighting each other, you're fighting the problem.
Right.
And you're doing that together. And so that's important. I mean, I've been married 2 years, and, we're young. So we had to learn. We just had to learn how to communicate, and it's gotten extremely better, and it can only go further. Like there's the sky.
And it'll keep getting better. It'll keep getting better as long as you keep that open line of communication.
Right. Right.
2 years is still really fresh. Like 2 years is 2 years is like getting through 2 podcasts.
Yeah.
You're almost through that second podcast.
Right.
And once you get through it, you're like, yeah, celebrate. We have 3 years now.
Yeah.
You know? And then lo and behold, you're at 15 years and you're like, fuck.
Right.
15 years. Like, it's crazy to think that I'm going on almost, I'm pretty sure it's 16 years. I'm just bad at math.
Yeah.
It's 2000. We got married in 2009.
It's a decade and a half. It's crazy.
So yeah, it is crazy, but communication is the only thing that keeps that going.
That's right.
So keep doing it. Keep talking to your partner and letting him know the things that you feel, and the things that upset you, and the things that make you happy, and the things that make that the good things about them, also along with some of the bad things. Like,
and
you got to have a balance.
You got to be willing to listen too. Like,
yeah, you got to be willing to hear that too, and make changes.
Yeah, it's something that I struggled with for a long time, even just in my other relationships, of hearing what you're doing is making me feel this way, and I don't like it. And if this relationship's going to continue or blossom or whatever, then there were changes I needed to make too. So it also comes in, it also like a lot, communication and humility. You know, being humble in expressing how you feel, you know, and then also being humble in hearing how the other person feels and being able to take it not as an attack, but as progress to move forward.
Yeah, because remember, you chose to spend the rest of your life with this person. Like, you made that commitment. If you're in marriage, you chose to do that. So you have to do everything possible to uphold that commitment before just dipping. So you have to figure it out. You have to.
They're good and bad.
I little side note, that I'm very proud of this, because I'm pretty sure, like, through my mom and my sisters, I've held the longest first marriage.
There you go. That is good.
With 15 years. Everybody else dipped out after 2.
Thanks.
It's the norm.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately,
I mean, that's like the median. 2 years. Somebody realizes, fuck, I can't do this for another 10. I can't do this for another 20.
Right.
I've only wasted 2 years now. I might as well get out while I can.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the thing is chances, like, this is my opinion, but chances are, if you're getting to that point, there was always something in the back of your head. Like, there was always,
you had doubt. There was always doubt.
Exactly. There's always a reluctance and doubt. Exactly. Like, there was hesitation. And at that point, why did you go through with it then? You know, like, there was no doubt for me. And that I hold on to, which is why, like, anything that ever happens, like, I'm determined, like, this is a commitment that was made and I intend on seeing it through. And there
100%.
will be ups and downs, and you have to anticipate and expect those ups and downs. But as long as the ups outweigh the downs, that's what you need. I've never had a fight that didn't end after an hour or two. You know, sometimes, and a lot of that is just taking space, you know, coming back after an hour or two. I mean, I have had fights that lasted longer, but not with.
Right. No, I have, like, I mean, we've gone a day or two. It's very hard because, like, I'm a very, very firm believer of, you know, don't go to bed mad at your partner.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to go to bed not upset at them and them not upset at me, because you never know what's going to happen in your sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a feeling I don't want to live with, and I don't want to pass on to somebody if I'm the one that goes and we just had a fight and they're pissed off at me and I die in my sleep. That's something they're going to have to live with.
Right.
I'm dead. Right. It doesn't matter to me, but they're going to have to deal with that. They're going to have that guilt and that pain of the fight that we had.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. I agree completely.
Oh, that was a good look at us. Christina's going to be so proud of us being such great gentlemen and giving such good advice on relationships.
That's right.
She wasn't even here to tell us we were not talking about the right things.
That's right. Well,
you're going to be proud of us. We made you proud, Christina.
Yeah.
Here's my microphone. All right. My topic is a little more less on the relationship side of things. it is to do with a relationship, but more of a materialistic approach. The title of mine is, would I be the asshole for throwing away my fiance's dog scrotum? It goes on to say, my fiance, this is a 22-year-old female, and the fiance is a 21-year-old male,
Young.
has brought home random things from his job at an animal hospital in the past. I usually protest to them until I find a valid reason to get rid of them, and he does. For example, he accidentally brought home a tick once and said he wanted to keep it as a pet since it likely didn't have any diseases, until I pointed out how long ticks could live. We've been dating for 7 years and living together for 1. Recently, he brought home someone's dog's scrotum. He was supposed to throw it out. I think it's gross, but he insists it's interesting and a conversation starter, and insists on keeping it. Supposedly, the dog's owner also doesn't care what happens to it, though I'm not sure how to fact check that. I'm not sure his boss or the dog's owner knows he has it, but I don't want to get him in trouble at work, nor do I have the boss's contact info anyway. I've tried convincing him to get rid of it, but he is set on the belief that it is a totally acceptable, albeit unique, thing to have around the apartment. He's unconcerned about whatever biofluid it's floating in, leaking out of the container, and says I'm exaggerating the issue. It's been a week, and it's just sitting in our living room, where I tend to do my own work as I work from home. I hate looking at it. I really, really just want it gone, and I feel like I'm losing my mind every time I look at it. So would I be the asshole if I just threw it out without his permission, especially since he's told me he wants to keep it? To clarify, since a few people brought it up, it is not currently leaking. I told him I was worried it could leak, especially if it fell on the ground. So, this sounds very weird, right? It sounds very weird. But if you think about it, if he's a scientific person, he works in an animal hospital, he must like anatomy, he must have a passion for those types of things. Doctors, you know, there's different types of doctors that have fucking brains floating in jars and have organs floating in jars, and like people collect little tiny heads floating in jars. Like, it's not that weird. It is a little weird that it's somebody else's dog's scrotum. But I agree that it is a unique conversation starter. Like, I would keep it. I would have a jar with a dog scrotum in it. If that's me, I'm weird. Okay, now you know. The internet knows. Like, I would do it with like someone's nose. If someone's nose got taken off and it got put into a liquid to be preserved and held, like that would be something cool for me to think. Like, I think that's a cool, unique thing.
Okay, so when the whole conversation starting thing, one of the comments says, I mean, it is starting conversations, and it certainly is. So look, I am of the mind that to each their own. I think like a brain or like an organ or like anything like that for a doctor is a little.
What if he is?
What
if he's a vet?
I don't think he is. He's only 21.
That doesn't really have.
That'll only be 3 years of school. I think you need more.
For a veterinarian to work on animals?
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't think you don't need fucking the same amount of years to work on humans as you do animals.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair, but it's got to at least be 4 or 5.
Vet in training.
Maybe.
He works in an animal hospital nonetheless.
He does work in an animal hospital nonetheless. What if this motherfucker's just a janitor? and he's just taking stuff that he finds in the trash. So look,
I mean, it very well could be, but if we don't look at it that way and we look at it as it's a like, I wouldn't display it in my living room. Like, that'd be something I kept in like in like my shop, or like in the background of my room.
Right.
Like if I just kept it in the background.
Right.
Like it's not something I would keep out in the living room for like guests to come over, but would I for sure be like, hey,
you want to see my
I have a jar with dog nuts in them. Do you want to see it? 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to be like, fuck yeah. Yeah, I want to see that. Hell yeah, I want to see that. You know, okay, so when I had my blood clots taken out of my chest, I think only maybe 3 people said they didn't want to see the pictures. When I said, I have a picture, you want to see it?
Yeah.
I think only 3 people were like, no, I'm good. You sure? Yeah, I can live without not seeing that. Okay, cool. I won't show you. But the other people were all like, yeah, I am super fucking intrigued. Like, I definitely want to see that.
Let me tell you how I responded yes, because it was over text. You said, you want to see my blood clots? And I said yes, but I was saying it like, yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I went, no. I looked at it, no. Why did I say yes?
I asked every single nurse that came into the hospital, that came in to help me when I was in the hospital. I was like, I got pictures. You want to see them? Yes. They were like super excited. That's their profession. That was interesting to them. That's super cool to them. But like, even people outside of the hospital, they were like, a lot of them were like, hell yeah, I want to see that. I've never seen that before. Fuck yeah. That's a lot of them. There's so many. I was like, yeah, it's like a fucking Miss Frizzle field trip in my chest trying to suck them out. It was crazy. I was awake the whole time.
Magic school bus. Damn. Magic school bus.
So, I mean, I would definitely, I'm the weird, I would collect weird shit. You know, as long as it's safe. I'm not going to be unsafe about it. Like, I'm not, it's like, yeah, it could be a biohazard, but I would make sure that it's in a completely sealed container. You know, I would even go to the lengths of maybe even protecting the container to where it didn't break.
Right. I think like if it's suspended in something that is intended to preserve it, you know, like a brain and stuff like that is put in something to preserve it. But if it's just in some biofluid, that's like just to like, I don't know. I agree with the idea that, yeah, people like to collect interesting things. And like we went to a store recently in the city that was this like weird. I mean, you saw the pictures. They had like rabbit fetus in there and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah,
that stuff to me, like, it's cool, it's interesting, but like, oh, it was pig fetus. I personally wouldn't display it or like have it because I don't like to look at stuff like that. But like, to each their own. The thing that I think is the issue is that she's like, I fucking hate this. They've been together 7 years. It's another thing about communication. She's saying, I fucking hate this. And he's saying, tough. I like my dog balls. I'm keeping them.
But they've been together for 7 years and only lived together for 1. So they're learning how they're learning each other's living habits.
I want to know what else he has. I want to know what else.
That's a hard thing.
It is.
Being with somebody is way different than living with somebody. Because at the end of the day, you go back to your bed, he goes back to his bed, house, bed, whatever. You go back to your own separate places.
Yeah.
And live your life in your own domain. When you combine those 2 domains, you'll learn a lot about somebody.
Yeah.
A lot. And sometimes compromise is definitely needed.
Yeah, like if you want to keep it in like by your computer or
be
something.
A great compromise.
Right.
Yeah. Don't leave it in the living room where I work, or don't leave it in the room that I work in all the time.
Right.
Move it somewhere.
So going back to what we were talking about his position, it says, one of her comments does say that he's not a tech. He worked kennel and was recently promoted to assistant. I don't know what that entails.
Well, I mean, he's an assistant.
He's an assistant.
I still don't think it's like,
I think if his
like,
boss
okay,
is cool with it too. that's another point to him. If his boss is like, whatever, dude, take it.
Yeah. So when I had emergency surgery years ago on my testicles, I was prepared if they had to take it out to ask for it.
Yeah.
To be sent home with me.
That's a
my body part.
Yeah.
My nut.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see my nut floating in my jar to remind me every day that I only have one nut.
Yeah. But you still have two. You just don't have them.
I do still have two.
Yeah.
I still have two. They're just stapled to me.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying like you'd have two, one with you constantly and one that you could admire.
I could admire it and be like, look at that.
But that's your nut.
Wish it was a little bit bigger, but it's mine. I know, but still, it doesn't matter. Like, these were just gonna get thrown away. It was an interesting thing to this person. It's a dog. It's not even like a person, so it's not personal.
Right.
It's from a dog that was probably castrated.
Right.
And I think it'd be crazy cool to look at. I would look at it. I would if I had the opportunity. If somebody were like, "Here, do you want to take this home?" I'd be like, "Fuck yeah." My wife wouldn't like it, but that's where compromise comes in. I'll keep it upstairs, and you don't ever have to look at it. It's in my room. You don't have to look at it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said,
I'm weird like that. I like bodily stuff. Like that bodily type stuff is like, it's interesting to me.
I think the thing that throws me off and that makes me like not want to vouch for this dude is that he brought home the tick.
That is a little fucking weird. Like, it's a tick.
What else?
How you keeping a fucking tick? How you can bring home a tick as a pet?
Right, you're not gonna get any gratification from that pet. That thing, all that thing wants to do is drink your blood.
That just makes me feel like this guy is like, he's just a lover of things.
Yeah.
He's just like a lover of things. He finds something that's interesting. He's like, I'm going to make this my pet and I'm going to feed it and love it and take care of it. It's going to be all mine. I don't care that it sucks my blood. What do ticks eat? Oh, blood. Here, have my finger.
Oh, no. Let me give you, why don't you give me Lyme disease and I'll take care of you.
Yeah, but he was very clear it didn't have diseases. How does he know? I know. How does he know? That was what I was getting at there. How does he fucking know it doesn't have diseases?
Likely didn't have any.
Did he give it a blood test?
Right. With his own blood? The fuck?
The fuck?
If I see a tick, that thing's getting popped, I'm killing it instantly. I'm burning it or I'm popping it if it's full.
Ticks are so gross. I hate ticks.
I hate them.
This is my order of parasite, like normal parasites between like humans and pets. It goes lice, ticks, fleas. 3 top, then mosquitoes. Mosquitoes would be the 4th.
Yeah.
Fuck all those blood sucking bitches.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. It makes me just so grossed out. Like I'd rather hold the ball sack in my hand than have any of those things on me. It just grosses me out.
When I was a teenager, my house had a tick infestation.
Oh, Jesus.
I had it happen twice in 2 different houses. Once in one house and once in another. And for whatever reason, they only attacked me. We didn't have animals in the house. Right. Well, the first time we did. But the second time we got
that good blood.
And sweet blood. I don't get it. My legs were tore up. Like, oof. And I would be sleeping and I'd feel them jumping on me.
Gross.
And no. Yeah, and I'd walk to the bathroom and I'd feel a bunch. I'd look down and there would just be like 15 on each leg, and I'd swat them away and they just keep coming back. When we finally got the house bombed, you could see them on the walls. It looked like somebody took pepper and threw it on all over the walls. They had multiplied so much. It was gross, horrible. It was gross, horrible, and so embarrassing. And they're on my clothes. They're in my bed. Like, they're everywhere.
Well, I mean, so growing up, I had all sisters, and lice traveled fast in schools. And one of my sisters would get lice, and everyone's getting treated. I rarely ever got lice. I don't think I really ever did, because I always had short hair. I always kept my hair really short.
Yeah.
I mean, I still try to keep my hair pretty short. but it's still going through that process. Like my kids, they've gotten it before. Fucking nightmare. It's a nightmare.
I've never had
There's
lice.
so much you have to do with head lice. You got to treat the head. You got to fucking clean up all the bedding, any stuffed animal, any clothes. Everything needs to get washed and dried. It's just, it's such a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
And it's just so gross. It's just so fucking disgusting. Ugh.
Like, I'm lucky that I have never had lice, but it's annoying as a human being and not an animal to have been attacked on 2 separate occasions in high school by fucking fleas.
Fleas and ticks, or just fleas?
I mean, I got ticks growing up in New Hampshire. I got ticks just from playing outside, and that was fine. I mean, I just rip them off me and kill them, or if like they're on my dog or something. Like, they didn't bug me as much because it wasn't.
Yeah, fleas. Fleas are bad. Like we have animals, and this last year was the worst year. We've lived here for 7 years, and we've never really had to get our dogs flea medication for our area. Like for the summers, we've never really had to get our dogs flea medication. They've never really gotten fleas. This year was fucking terrible. So fucking bad. I don't know where they all showed up from, how they got to us, but it was terrible. And oh my God, it's disgusting. And we instantly just we treat it as fast as we possibly could.
That's good, because once that shit gets in your house, if you leave it untreated, it's a legitimate infestation. And it's like,
yeah.
Like I think about that, and like that was actually like, that was fucked up when you think about it. Like it was fucked up.
Well, I mean, so that's like this almost the same situation as living somewhere that's full of fucking cockroaches.
Yeah.
Like,
and
I've seen some videos. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to add a 5th parasite: leeches. Fuck leeches. We used to have, there was this river we would swim in town during the summers when we were kids. We'd go swimming, and I remember a couple people getting leeches because you go sit in the slow moving part of the river, and that's where they would come from. They'd fucking come and get on your legs. Like, we'd have to check all the time. Like, I never had one on me. I did see one, but I've never had them on me, and I am fucking terrified of it.
I've had about 5 or 6 on me.
Gross.
Yeah, not at one time. I've had 2 on me at one time.
Still,
I remember one being on my upper leg under my bathing suit. And I didn't realize it until my leg started to hurt. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I pulled it up, and I had to like peel it off me.
It's so gross. So disgusting. The worst fucking hickey of your life.
We would throw them and bash them on the rocks.
Yeah, I wouldn't even touch them. Fuck that shit. Oh.
Yeah, it was nasty.
It like that type of thing disgusts me. Even like if you're like fishing and you catch an animal, a fish that might have a leech on it, like I'm not keeping that fish. Sorry, you're going back.
Yeah, you're tainted.
If I have like pliers or something, I might peel the leech off for them.
Right.
But parasites are fucking gross.
They're disgusting. They're
so gross. Have you seen that video going around of the woman taking a praying mantis and sticking its ass in water, and that leech, the parasite, comes out of its abdomen and just it's like a giant ass worm, and it just keeps coming and coming, and when it finally drops out of the mantis, she pulls the mantis out, lets it go, and it's just sitting there fucking squirming around inside this fucking bottle of water.
No, but that makes me lightheaded.
It's so gross.
Have you seen the videos of like botflies being taken out of like dogs and cats?
Even better, I've seen them taken out of humans. That's gross, but that's something that I will watch. Like, I'll watch something like that.
It's satisfying to watch for sure, I think.
It's like pimple popping videos. Yeah. Like, I love pimple popping videos.
But
I'll watch them all day long.
Dude.
Yeah, they're like little tremor worms.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. But I will watch that shit. I watched a video. The guy had like 5 or 6 of them on his back.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. He was in like Costa Rica or Panama or something in one of those tropical, one of those like rainforesty areas. And it's just the fly lands on you and bites you and lays its egg inside of you.
Yeah.
When it bites you, it spits it out into your fucking wound and it grows inside of you, which is fucking gross.
Yeah.
Like that is some
predator or alien shit. That's some alien shit.
Yeah. 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 It's fucking gross. But watching them come out, it's cool. Cause like sometimes you get lucky and you hear that little pop noise as they suck it out. You're like, oh, that's so nice. But that's fucking gross.
My whole thing is like, it's got to feel nice coming out.
I'm sure it does.
I mean, it probably hurts after, but
yeah, it might even hurt. Like it's got to hurt because you got to think like your body has been stretched out and it's used to feeling that like that indention stretched apart, and then you pull it out and your body's like instantly like start sucking back in, and you just feel every bit of that wound sucking back together and touching. Ugh.
Yeah.
Imagine sitting there and you literally feel bugs crawling inside of you because they're like moving around in your fucking back, eating at you.
I'll kill myself. Fuck that. I can't handle that.
What was it? Which mummy was it? The first one or the second one where he had the fucking little scarabs crawling around underneath his skin everywhere? Oof,
like it was bad enough to have bugs crawling on my legs constantly, but in like under my skin, bleh. No. Oh, thank you.
Nope. Well, I mean, we got like, there's no certainty that you don't have parasites in you.
That's fine if I can't feel them.
Can't feel them. I know,
That's
but
fine.
you never. Has your butt ever had that weird little tingle, and you're like, why is that feeling like that?
Pinworms.
And you're like, is that a worm coming out of my asshole?
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know?
Right. Right. I mean, depends on the worm.
You stand up and you move, or you like go to wipe, and you're like, oh, it senses something coming. It goes, just sucks right back up and hides.
Yeah. You know, if you get pinworms, the thing, because they come out at night, they'll crawl out of your hole. The way to tell if you have them, if you didn't go to diagnosis, is take a piece of tape and place it over, and then
it'll stick to it.
Peel it off in the morning, and you'll see them. They'll be stuck to the tape. Bunch of little white like worms.
Asking for a friend, and he's like regular Scotch tape or duct tape.
Yeah, Scotch tape, see-through tape.
See-through tape. Okay, I'll let my friend know that.
Okay. Yeah.
If he gets any, I'll ask him to take pictures.
If you feel itchy at night consistently,
I'll ask him to take pictures.
Might be pinworms.
So we can post them.
Yeah, okay.
I hope I don't have pinworms in my butthole.
Yeah. I thought I did for a minute, but I didn't.
I don't really have an itchy butthole at night, so
you should be good then. That's like the main thing. Kids get them mostly.
How do they know it's nighttime? It's always dark down there.
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe just like when whoever has them is like laying down, and then your body starts to relax because you're about to go to sleep, and you know, maybe they sense the melatonin being released in your body, and then they crawl out.
Or they sense the lack of movement, and you're just like you're so like into it, like you're sleeped.
Yeah,
your asshole relaxes and stops being so tight.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you can think about other things that don't involve having a fucking tightened asshole because you're so irritated and frustrated and annoyed with the world.
Yeah. Definitely. Sorry.
Also, probably my friend.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah. I just would hate to have like what are they called? The other worms? The fucking long ones.
Tapeworm?
I would fucking. I'd freak out.
I'm pretty sure those can come out of your butthole too.
They do. You can poop them out. I'd freak out.
Could you imagine? Why do we always talk about shit in our podcast?
I don't know.
It always leads to it.
I know.
But could you imagine, like, you poop out a little poop ball and it's attached to a tapeworm and it starts reeling it back up out of the water? Bring it back to your butt. I'm stuck in this.
Oh, no.
You hear like a fishing rod. Oh, fuck. That was gross. All right. Well, I think we'll end our podcast on the visualization of a ringworm reeling in a poop ball back into your butt.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. You guys know where to find us. Check down in the comments. That's where we'll be. So many different things happening with so many different social medias anymore. I'm not even going to list them. You just look at where we have them, and that's where we'll be. You have any weird stories or can relate to anything we have talked about tonight, please let us know down in the comments. You can leave comments on Spotify. I just learned that the other day. And if you want to send us an email, beardslyddpodcast@gmail.com will also be down there. Send us an email. Let us know how you thought about the episode. Is there anything we can do better? Anything you'd like to see, hear? If you have a suggestion, let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
Please.
So, thank you for listening to episode 8 of Beardsly's Daily Dose. We thank you so very much, truly, and we'll see you all next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.